say we're decking, so we can deck all this area out. We've got some nice composite decking, 95% recycled plastic.
Where's the other 5% come from?
Rubbish. I don't know. We ripped the old one out, we've concreted over 4x4 posts in, put a lot of extra posts in this time, solid nogged it all. They've gone for the nice shiny face up rather than the traditional grooves. We've got a perimeter going to go away around like a picture frame, they called it. And we've got a few flights of stairs to make as well. I've got 4. As you can see, the joists have got this black tape on which they supply it, so when you look down you don't see it, and I guess it gives the wood a little bit of protection. But also I'm not going to put no straight joints in, no zips in it. I'm going to stagger all the joints, and they recommend that you finish the board on a joist. And it also says you should have like a little gap so the water can drain down. I've got the tin block screws, so I'm just going to pre-drill it, screw them down now. And then this will go on here. It doesn't look very nice when you've got a straight joint like every board. But I could have come off 4/8 off this side and then like a straight run of joints up there, but I think it looks better when it's all staggered. It just takes your eye off it. And what with the 5mm joints in between.
Unlike other decking where you might join 2 boards.
You normally join timber on one joist.
Yes. And if you do that, there's always that tendency for it to split, isn't there?
Yeah, because on timber you could, pre-drill it would be better, but you're getting very close to the end. Where on this, it's now supported on both that and tape. With them timber locks, really, I'm quite happy with that.
Well, the great thing about this one is that if there was any problem, you could always go
and get underneath. So, and then we've got the clips that go in to hold it all down.
I mean, even to the extent of these posts going into the ground. You say you concreted them in, and some people worry about that, but as I've seen so many times, if you try to take a post out that's been concreted in, a bit in the concrete, a bit under the ground, it's fine. Yeah. They rot just where they leave the ground, don't they?
These are the clips that we've got. We've got a plastic clip there, and they also supply these ones, but they've got like serrated teeth. It's just to stabilise it. You just screw it here, like so. But you don't go all the way home, so then this board slides in nicely. But these clips are slightly smaller than the decking, so it pulls it down. If it was the same as the decking, it wouldn't pull it tight. When I was screwing them, they just wasn't sitting quite right. It was just kinking over a little bit, because that gap between the bottom there. So what I've been doing, just put them all along there loose, pushing that in, and then when I'm screwing that down, it just seems to me it's holding it just nicely like that. Just a learning curve of doing a different system. The first few boards took a little while to get down, but hopefully now they'll be racing along.
There'll be people watching this who say, all right, that's all very well, nice system, but if you have any damage, it's a bit like tongue and groove, you'd have to take a lot out in order to replace one piece of board.
I think with this, what you could possibly do, I've not obviously tried it, is if you took 2 boards out, you might be able to spring it out. If you get like a bar, I mean, we can get underneath and try and spring it out. Alternatively, to get a board out, you could cut down this with a multi-tool, and then you'd obviously ruin the block, then you could replace a new board. These do sell some screws with a very small head, so you can face fix it down, and it's quite a small head, it'd virtually disappear. So it's not ideal, but you could definitely replace the boards. Right, it's not looking bad.
Looking all right.
So that's it. So yeah, so we're going to have one of them in there, And another one up there. I'm going to cut one of these, like the tongues off, or the part of the groove. That's going to go around now. We're going to have the grips on top of the treads, but the flat side there, and it's going to come round and make a nice corner. So we have a shadow gap there, and then 5mm gap there, and a rip in there. And then, so we're going to have the grooves on the treads, just to break up a little bit. That's the plan. On these ones, down the side they'll be cladding anyway, that's going to marry in with the wall. Sometimes you overcomplicate stuff, it starts looking too big. We've got quite a big capping that's going to go on. Look how wide that is. That'll obviously be evened out a little bit. So I think we might just leave it and they can just stain that with some wood preserve, that colour.
So you got yourself a different router then. Where'd you nick that
Rog,
from?
I have. I got it quite cheap, but they're about £150 new. It's 240, which I normally use 110. But I just wanted to try it for when I'm doing some worktops. This is more powerful than my Festool one.
So it's a 1/2 inch router.
It's half-inch.
Was your Festool a 1/2 inch as well?
It's both 1/4 inch. There's a next model up from that, but it's the OF, I think OF 1400.
Yeah.
And the other thing, you see this one screws in, that guide bush. With my Festool one, it clips in, and there's a very slight amount of wobble on that. So when you're following worktop jigs, that little bit of play, it's not a lot, but if that's not dead centre to your cutter, when you're going in one way, it's that over a little bit, and if you turn the router around...
Does that centre itself, or do you need one of those little things
that
you
is
put in?
reasonably self-centering, but you to do it properly, you should put the I've got one, a mandrill.
Yeah.
You put a mandrill in there.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, with my little Makita one, it won't self-centre because it's so tight in there, you can't actually move it around a little bit. It's like this one hasn't got much play. But I just wanted to try it on worktops next time, where that's solid.
Yeah.
Where, say, the Festool one does wobble a little bit, so that'd be good to try.
I've never seen a clip-in one before. I'll have to look at that.
It all clips in, and the other thing with Festool, if anyone's bearing in mind, they're great routers, but some of these copying rings, Festool make them, where some of the other manufacturers, this is just a bog standard one, really. As you can see, we've got smooth grip. So that's the riser, smooth, and then the other one I butt into that.
Got it.
That's the plan. I'm going to CT1 it, but if it doesn't hold that well, then we'll get some screws that are the same colour, and we'll just put a couple of screws. But I'm hoping this stuff is normally like a really good adhesive.
Yeah,
Up in there, like that. Right, I've had to stay there. Because he's coming from up north. And then we're going to put it on a lorry. He ordered 5 more lengths of decking. They've not actually give it to him free or anything.
When you shot that one.
Was it? Not not a thingy shot.
Yeah, exactly. Sunglasses, footwear and
Drop on the 2nd of June. This is Marsha Griffiths. I shall sing on hiatus. Right about 30 minutes time. Plus we shall see who unlocks the box that rocks. It's going to be riffing its way to you. A little bit late.
On this base rail, these plastic blocks get screwed down onto there, and then the balustrading just simply sits over the top of that. So because I've done some already, I've got this piece of ply. That is the thickness of one of the balustrades, one of the sticks. And I'll just set that out, and then with my compasses I can find the centre of it, there and there. And I'm just going to pilot hole. I'm going to put a little bit of mastic under there just to glue that to the base rail. Then we'll put a screw straight through all this lot into that decking there when this one goes in. And then the sticks go on top of it so you don't see no fixings at all. And when I do the top rail, it's going to be exactly the same, but I'm going to router a very small piece out here like that, because we've got some L brackets that are going to go up so they're hidden. We've cut them down, and then we just get a couple of screws through there so you can't see it. So these are the brackets they supply, and what they're meant to do is they go under there and hang down so you can see it.
oh god.
But Chris has decided we cut them down so you've still got the 2 fixings there, and it's going to go up in there, and then the handrail will just sit on top of that and make the screw.
Ah, I see, okay.
Make the screw.
Yeah.
But I will router a little bit out in a minute.
The thickness of that bracket.
Yeah, so that's just going to go there like that.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that weird that they want to do them downwards?
I kind of
Showing.
guess it's much easier to do it like that, isn't it? You can just fit that straight on and do it in situ.
Yeah, I know.
We just didn't want to see them if we can help
No,
it. The
no.
less fixings, the better, really. So you've got the centre of the first stick there, and then there should be the centres of them there. That's it. And she said, why have you sent an invoice? Like, we've paid this and the cards and all that lot. I said, no, you asked for an invoice and I sent you one. I said, I blame Shakespeare. Because an invoice, it's really, you know, once you've bought it, it's more of a receipt, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So she should have said, could you send me a receipt? But you don't, you just say, can you send me an invoice? So, because I sent her an invoice, it looked like she had to pay it again.
Yeah.
And I said, it's Shakespeare's fault, we created 20,000 words that we didn't need. Invoice, receipt, same sort of thing really, isn't it? Now look at this. I tried mate on here, but it just didn't really. I weren't having it. So well. It's not on right for paste.
Moon landing then.
Roger, I'm going to mastic these because look, see that? You've got a bit of wobble on them. That's it. There's that. Yeah. Right, they're down the roof. Yeah, that's it. Oh, a few more to do. When I've done all this, like we started at the top, you fix this so you see the fixing, then you put these clips under there like that, and you sort of screw through, and I work down. But lucky enough I can work both ways with these clips. That's going to go there, and I can screw that one and then still sit the top board on top, so it's not like a one system. You've not got to start all the time up and work down. I can actually
So what have you done? Put a centre board in, and you're not having any rips. Is that how you worked
well,
it?
I've started from here, worked all the way down, and luckily enough it did work out within, like I've got a 1/2 mil gap through the bottom.
Yeah.
And then we're going to work up so they line through, and then basically when I get to here, I can cut this down, and if it sticks above that a little bit, it doesn't really matter.
No.
So I can plant a little bit on top of this, because once it goes down here, and then work it out obviously to fall, and we're just going to finish it one of these rather than a trim. It'll probably just finish with one of them. Got loads of different trim situations, and it took us a little while. As you can see there, we've gone along the top and then one down the corner.
So this is the same material as the decking,
Same as the decking, yeah.
It's a mixture of timber and old
Mixture of, yeah.
recycled plastic.
And they reckon there's 0.3% ginger ale in it.
And it's kind of dolphins.
Kind of dolphins, yeah. So I'm going to put some more clips on these now. Let's give me my first board up, so it can go under there. Every upright's going to have a clip.
So then it's more of the same now, really, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to continue these through. I'm going to work these ones up, so get it near here, and then just finish it there. A bit more down now. Balustrading to go around, going down the stairs, and then just down here, there'll be more of this cladding.
So what are you going to do with the strings?
We're not sure yet. We might just paint them, because
Yeah.
it's right cladding them in this, but sometimes you can make more of a mill out of it, can't you?
I think so, yeah. Skill
So we
becomes a
might
bit
just stain
boxy
them
then.
up, just to get some decent stain.
Yeah.
Or exterior paint, and just paint them the same colour.
Yeah.
So-
Bit of saddling or whatever.
Yeah, something
you can,
like that.
You can get any colour you like now,
Yeah,
can't you? Take
yeah.
a sample in and then match it.
And match it up. So that'd be my
Yeah.
vote.
This is your first time fitting this composite decking, is it?
I fitted one for Tim, but I screwed straight through the face. So at first we thought the screws might look ugly, but to be honest, once it's all down and you've got furniture around, you sort of lose it. His one hasn't moved, where the one that we're doing now, it does seem to move quite a bit. We had like 30 degrees in the daytime, and you're probably talking at 14 degrees at night. So the sort of 15 degrees movement of temperature, it's moving quite a lot.
The big problem you've got then is knowing whether it's already expanded when you cut it. So you either cut it hot, but you don't allow an expansion joint because it's already expanded, or you cut it cold and you put in their recommended expansion joint, which is what? How many mil is that?
It's 5 mil. The spaces they give you is 5 mil. And I don't know if you remember, I've got my the Viking arm to just nip them up, not push them tight. So all the boards went up tight, and you put the 5 mil spacer in, and now some of them, They're like measuring at like 6 or 7 mil, but it looks more like 10 when you're looking at it with like the rounds on top. It does look quite big. I'm sure they're all going to shrink back again. But you say I was cutting some in the morning, and in the afternoon I went to fit some handrails, and it was too long again. So it was really moving in this heat.
So that's a problem. And the other problem that you're concerned about is how wobbly the handrails are. Is that right?
Yeah, they're a little bit wobbly. So yeah, we've got to try and stiffen one big long runs up, because the plate is fixed down extremely well, but you've got a metre lever, and we put mastic round in that joint to try and stop it wobbling.
If you were doing that out of timber, you would take that post through
Probably
the decking
take it right through.
and bolt it to the side of the
Yes.
actual joist.
Yeah. I think the original ones, they might have gone into the ground and come up big long, like just a 4x4 post coming out the ground.
Yeah, but if you wanted a decorative newel, you're not going to go all the way
No,
to the ground with it, are you?
no.
But I get your point. You didn't choose the decking.
I'm working for Chris, and he organised everything.
But from your point of view, if you do something like that with supply and fit for a customer, and it's your recommendation, and then they go, oh, it's wobbly, you've got nowhere to go with it,
Not
because
really,
it's
no.
the manufacturer's design. You're just kind of stuck with it. I can't see how you're going to beef that up then. What are you thinking?
On the big long run, we're going to put something down the other side. I've got some handrail left over, so I can try and get that down now.
What, to match, you
And
mean?
yeah, it's all matching. The system in theory is great. You screw down and your posts go over it, so you've got hidden fixings.
But like you say, you've
It's a
got a
nice-
metre high
It's
lever
a
on
metre
it.
high sort of lever in effect, and it's mobbing it about.
Any other observations about it or not?
No, it's a nice product to work with at the end of the day. It does look really nice, but it's just first time doing it, and so the spacers, I've pushed it up, but they are moving a little bit.
One thing I looked at is that you've made those steps, you've made them out of softwood, so the decking isn't actually a structural element, it sits on top, if you like, clads it.
Yeah, the decking's just decorative, basically.
And I was just thinking about the drainage there, because you're going to get water going down between the bits of deck, and it's going to sit on that softwood, isn't it?
Where the two deckings meet, the joint there, I've made a big hole, like a drainage hole, that goes right through. So any water going down there, it will go straight through. I left little bits in to screw the blocks to, and the other day it did rain, and you could see the water going straight through. It was working quite well.
Are you looking forward to your next composite decking job or not?
I think if I have a little break, that'd be nice.
So if anybody out there is looking, oh, I want this bloke to do my composite decking, give him a break.
Yeah.
Come back and see him in a year's time.
Yeah, so September time or something.